Hi, I'm Kira Magrann, and I am a queer cyborg living in Columbus, Ohio, designing tabletop role-playing games and LARPs and other games that are strange. I am going to talk today about finishing projects, which is extraordinarily hard. So there's that saying or whatever that's like, what is it? Perfect is the enemy of done, which is great. I love that saying. Like, I grew up in a visual art background, went to art school, and I was one of those kids who would always like start a million projects. I'd get bored really easily with things. My brain is all over the place, like still as a human. And an adult human. I guess I was a human back then too. And yeah, so I just like would start a million things and never finish any of them. I'd like start 100 drawings in my sketchbook, but none of them would be done. And it took me a long time to figure out how to finish things, that it was okay if something wasn't perfect, or exactly like I imagined it to be in my head, but that it was close enough. And that's an important thing to learn as a creator or an artist, like getting to that point where you can say, this is done, this is as done as it's going to be right now, and everything I make in the future is always going to be better than everything I've made before, and I just have to accept that and move on, which is like way easier said than done. I still have trouble with this, like even though I'm not working on as much visual art right now, mostly because of my chronic pain issues. I have fibromyalgia, which is recent within the past few years and sucks. It means I basically can't, like I do a lot of jewelry making and stuff, and I basically can't do this for long periods of time anymore. So writing is great because I can sit in front of the laptop and get up and get down and it doesn't hurt me as much. And finishing games has been like really hard for me. I think it's just like a different media. I had done writing in the past as well, but there's something just about this nervousness that I get when I'm about to finish a project where I'm like, no, I should keep working on it. It's not done yet. I could refine these parts or edit these parts more or add this little thing over there, that little thing over there. And after a while, I just kind of have to trick my brain into being like, okay, you can add 2 more things. And that's it, Kira. Those are the only things you can add. Game over. Like, you need to let it go. Let it go. But, I mean, it's hard to let your babies go. You spend a lot of time and energy. I spent a lot of time and energy thinking about this and, putting my heart and soul into something and making it and putting it out into the world. It is me. It is a small creative baby that I made that people are going to see and read and play and judge and all of those things, right? And there's a little part of my brain that's always like, is it really fun? Is it like, are people gonna like it? Is it done enough? Does the layout look professional? Like all this stuff that I still have insecurities about when it comes to making games like tabletop role-playing games or LARPs, because it's a newer media for me. Like, even though I've been making them for years, I still don't feel as confident, I guess, with the media to say, okay, this is done, let's move on to the next thing, Kira. Whereas I can say with like a drawing, this is done, I'm done with this. Or, with a piece of jewelry that I've made, this is good, I have finished this, it looks done. So I think learning that learning curve is like a big learning curve for games, for me anyway. I mean, a lot of games I've made are short and I'm like, okay, these short games are done. But a lot of them had a lot of external motivators as well. They had, people and deadlines that I was working with that they had to be done by a certain time. So it wasn't just like waiting on my feelings about if the game was done or not. I could hand it to someone else and be like, hey, can you give me feedback on this? And hey, can you edit this? And, they can add extra, weight to the doneness of a project. It's weird working on things on your own and saying, okay, this is done or this is not done. So it's kind of like working, it's more of a void that I'm used to working in as well. So, so I'm finishing A Cozy Den. That's why I'm ranting about this. I'm finishing it. It is my game that I'm making. It's my first game that I'm putting out through my Patreon, the support of my Patreon. So you have that external motivator and lovely patrons who are supporting me and helping me actually make something because I probably wouldn't otherwise. So thanks everyone. But you know, I'm trying to finish it today or tomorrow and I'm like angsting over details and should I add more here, and you know, is the layout make sense? Is it accessible in these spots? Does the character sheet actually need this on it, or can I just leave it in the text? And I'm just like, you know, I just need to let this little baby go. So I think I'm gonna do it today or tomorrow. I'm kind of nervous, and I think it's gonna be good. So, and I think it's a good game. It's fine. I've play tested it. It's good. It works. And it is fun. And I am delighted playing it. And people who have played it with me are also delighted. So I'm pretty excited about it. But so yeah, A Cozy Den. It's a game about lesbian snakes having domestic intimacy during the winter in their den. And it's GM-less, and it's powered by the apocalypse, and I'm kind of excited about some of the mechanics and the deconstruction I've done. See, when I start talking about it, I'm like, it's done. But my heart is like, no, stay with me longer. I don't know. So finishing things is hard. This is my finishing things anxiety rant, and you know, I hope that you can commiserate in some way and know that, I don't know, even though I've been making things since for decades now, I still get anxious putting stuff out into the world.